Okay, just doing a quick little video review of this Seiko Presage, pretty sure it's Presage line, SRP4, I think it's SRP645. That's right, SRP645J1. I believe is the model number for this. And this is a watch that rarely people know about, and I believe it's because it's only been primarily, if only, available in the Asian market. I believe mainly Thailand, and apparently Thailand is the world capital of Seiko fandom, and I don't know, they just love Seikos there, and they sell quite a bit, and they're just very popular there. And for that reason, actually, Seiko especially makes a lot of limited editions, and just even if it's not limited edition, it's some special models, I guess, or special versions of their models, and that you can't buy anywhere else. And I don't think a lot of people know this, but yeah, if you look it up, just Google it, Thailand Seiko special or limited edition models or something like that. You can find some retailers like Rakuten and was it Creation or some other ones that sell a lot of stuff from Asia market, and you'll see a list of things that a lot of them are probably not available, but some of them are, but at least you get to see what is or was there. And someone was selling this. His name is Stuart Isiam, I-S-I-A-M, if I'm not mistaken, and I think he goes by Bagels3 or something on the different watch sites, and he collects and I believe sells a lot of rare limited editions and unique pieces and a lot of discontinued stuff directly, and somehow he sources them, and that's how I got a hold of this. He showed it off on one of the Facebook groups, maybe Seiko and Grand Seiko watch fans, if I recall correctly, and I was like, oh, that's a nice watch, and he happened to mention that he had an extra one selling, and I was like, all right, I'd be interested in it. You know, it was a pretty fair price, I believe under 403 something, and I was like, why not? You know, the thing that drew me to this was the dial. It's quite nice. It's this light, I would say, ice blue dial, and see, it's got this hobnail texturing on it, which you don't normally, well, I wouldn't say you wouldn't normally see, but I think, let's see, Samurai has something like this, but I think it's the reverse, like the squares go in, so it's more of a, what they would consider a waffle dial instead. These subtle differences, but it's just this light blue, it's kind of radiant, and it's just a nice tone. And with this case too, it's kind of angular. It's got these faceted, you know, shapes, and the bracelet matches pretty well with it. Same theme. I like the fact that primarily most of this is brushed, except for the bezel, which I probably would have preferred it was brushed too, but it's all right. But just some of the beveled edges, that's why I don't mind to have high polish, but most surfaces I generally like to have brushed. And you gotta admit, I think most of the time the sides are usually high polished on a lot of watches, but this one is brushed, as you can see with this edge here, that's polished, and it just looks good. The case actually kind of reminds me of Seiko Samurai. You know, just the way it's faceted here, and but just more streamlined. You know, if you look at the Seiko Samurai, maybe if I look that up here, maybe I can give you a comparison real quickly. Seiko Samurai. But keeping with this is a nice clean watch, and it's quite versatile. I do wish it had loom, but that's fine, it doesn't. But you know, you got that nice hobnail dial, the blue, ice blue finish, which I don't see too often. I think the only thing closest to this is the Presage cocktail time watches. I forget the exact reference, but you know, the ones where it's got a lot of this radiant kind of texturing coming out that gives it a real fancy finish. You've seen it in this light blue dial, and I'm sure those who know the cocktail time know what I'm talking about. I'd say it's similar in tone to that, but this is just flat, but it's got all these nice textures, and you can see all the detail. Very precise minute track. Let me see if I can zoom in on that, or focus rather. And applied indices, and you can see how they're faceted, and it's a nice finish overall. It's got blued hands. I don't think they're really blued, but they look good. And this has a, I believe, 4R36 movement. You can see, let's see if I can even, no, let's see, right there. Yeah, I think it's a 4R36. So it's got hand winding, and it's hackable. And it's actually been pretty precise. And it's got the Chinese day wheel. You can't tell now because the kanji actually has this kind of, this is the character for sun, for Sunday. But if you look at the other characters, it's like 1, and then like 2 lines for 2, and 3, and 4, and then the Chinese number for 5 for Friday, and then I believe 6 is also it's for Saturday. The Chinese number for 6. Just look it up. So, and I like that more because it looks actually cleaner, and for me being Chinese, it actually makes more sense than the kanji letterings, which stand for, I think, Sunday is sun, Monday is moon, Tuesday is fire, Wednesday is wood, I think, or is it water, and then Thursday is either wood or water, and then Friday is gold, and then Saturday is earth. So anyways, those don't make sense to me. The way we say it in Chinese is 星期一, 星期二, 星期三, 星期四, 星期五, 星期六, and then 星期日 is, yet is sun, so that makes sense. And 星期一 is a different tone, but that's 1. 二 is 2, 3 is 3, Thursday is 4, say Friday is 5, and Saturday is look, 6. Right, so that all makes sense to me, and it's cleaner looking too. Anyways, oh, here's the samurai. Let me just show you. Let me show you what I mean by how it looks kind of similar. See how this is faceted here? It's very angular if you know the samurai. And you match it up with this. See how it's just kind of the same thing going on right at the bottom here as it is right down there. Right, it's very similar. And you got a crown here with the crown guards, just like the samurai does back there. And yeah, it's just a very similar looking case design, but this is just, I think the samurai is a bit more blunt. I don't know, this is black, but you can see how it's more angle. It's a little bit more, it drops down faster. It's more sharper, the angle, and a little less elegant in that sense. Here's another, let me see if I can show it to you. Here's another angle here, and you can see how that compares to, say, this guy. Very similar in a lot of ways. So I found that pretty cool. And the other reason why, let me see if I can brighten this up, it's getting dark. Okay, and also because of the auto balance, because the screen is brighter. What I like about this watch too is it reminds me of this Rolex Day-Date first. I don't know the reference number, but this thing is like in, I think in white gold or platinum. And let's see here, it's got a similar feel, you know, it's a day, date, and this also has a day and date as well. It's got a light blue dial. Let me zoom up to this. Is it high enough res, or is it? There we go. Let me see if I can tone this down slightly so it's not so overwhelming. The blue on this is a little bit more saturated, but you know, it's kind of the same idea. It's got these. This isn't hobnail. It's cut up a little bit differently, and it's diagonal, but you get the same kind of idea on this. It's applied silver indices, right? These hands are silver, but you know, but you get that kind of feel, you know. So kind of like, you know, that light blue, classy date kind of complication, and a silver case and bracelet. But it also reminds me of, let's see here. So yeah, you know, here's some other images, but you know, that's what it reminds me of first. And of course, because it's angular and that hobnail design, you can't help but think of the AP Royal Oak. And I think they do make a light blue version dial, but I think it's for ladies. But you know, you get this kind of angular feel to it, like the AP back there. And of course, if you look at the, you know, this is a clean form. It's very faceted, and this kind of has that going on. Not totally, obviously, but you know, that's how I kind of look at it. You know, just how this thing is faceted and angular, and so is the Seiko. And of course, if you the dial work, you know, you got that kind of texture and hobnail thing going on, and very clean and simple. So yeah, so that's why I kind of like this watch, is because it looks and feels similar to the AP and that date, and it's in this fashion. And jeez, it's really getting dark now. I think it's supposed to rain. Let me try to punch this up. Don't worry about the background, because why don't I just turn that off? Yeah, let's see if I can get the reflection of my ugly mug. Let's see. So, and this is a 40 millimeters. Maybe it might be even 39. It's a good size, and it's not too thick. I think it's under 13, and it sits low. And you get an exhibition case back, right? To see the 4R36 movement, which I kind of feel like it's somewhat not that common. Well, I guess it's in like the turtles now, right? Do they have a 4R15? Anyways, this is the movement. 24 jewel, Seiko, Japan, made in Japan, and 10 bar water resistance, which is alright for not being a screw down crown, but I'm not thinking of diving with this. And check this out, you actually get solid end links, and I think somewhat rare, but you don't always get a milled, solid milled clasp with this folding part. This might still be folded, but it's alright. It does the job. So yeah, these are all nice features, and it snaps very good. And let me see if I can get this on the wrist real quick. There we go. And I think it works pretty good. My 6 7/8 inch wrist, or 6.875. If you're gonna go by decimals. And you see it's not too thick. You know, it sits into the wrist, so it's not too bad, and it's pretty versatile. It goes with a lot of straps, leather, even NATO, and Perlon, and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, I do sometimes wish I had loom, but I don't think you really need it, especially if the hands are blued. They don't usually, most of the time you're not going to get any loom with blued hands. It's just the way it goes. I think one other person kind of snagged one of these few that were remaining from Stuart, and I think he said he's thinking of changing the hands to silver ones. I'm not sure what type, and that could look pretty good too. And if those happen to have a little bit of loom, like finely painted, you know, inside there. That'd probably be enough to tell the time, although you wouldn't have it on the dial, but it'd be pretty cool still. But I'm not going to bother digging into this. I think it looks pretty good as is. And certain lighting, it lightens up, and then other angles and lighting, you can really get that pretty decently deep. See, not really deep, but the light blueness of it shows up more. And the crown is signed. Overall, a great piece. I think this is a keeper. I'll see. I have some stuff I need to kind of part with, and I'm having a hard time deciding which one. I just have to reduce my collection a bit for the time being until I can save up and figure out how else I want to elaborate on my collection. I have quite a bit of Seikos, but they're all very unique and, you know, have their places if you've been following me. You know, for the Presage line or something dressy, or that's at least not a dive watch, it's either this or my SARD SARD007, which I really like that white enamel dial and the retrograde dates and that classic kettle shaped case, and it's very versatile too, since it's just white and black. A bit more than this, but this has a lot of character to it. Anyways, I just wanted to. It's a comfortable watch, as most Seikos are, and I think this is a nice, unique piece, and I'm glad I actually snagged it. It's not too much, but if I did sell it, I'd probably sell it for a little bit more than I got it for, just because I know this is discontinued, and it's pretty hard to find if you can find one. And this is a good example. You can see took pretty good care of it for the last few months. Hardly anywhere, if anything. It's mostly been off of the bracelet, but I do tend to change my straps from time to time, and I just figured for this review to show it the way it came through. And yeah, you know, she's got a substantial weight too. It's not bad. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this semi-quick look at this, and any questions, feel free to drop it in. Otherwise, I will talk to you guys later.